When we look at the various women within the Sopranos, there are plenty of similarities throughout all of their lifestyles. Of course, all are tied to the sociopath in Tony Soprano. All display traits of jealousy, greed, and enjoy a lifestyle of glitz and glamour that is brought into their world thanks to Tony's lifestyle and guilty habits. But there's one woman specifically that is in Tony's life that made him feel so different than anyone else, even more so than his very own wife, Carmela, and that is the girlfriend that Tony had in season 3, Gloria Trillo. In this video, we'll look at one example how Gloria represented Tony's mother, specifically with the slashing of the tires incident and how it's not as big as a mystery as it may seem. As always, before we get started, be sure to click subscribe and click the bell to get notifications on all upcoming Sopranos content. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to check out my merchandise store via Spreadshop. All links will be linked below. Ah yes, the relationship of Tony and Gloria. If we all thought that the relationship that Tony had with his mother was rough, we were all in shock when we were introduced to the relationship of two individuals who met in therapy in Gloria and Tony, as we knew this was only going to end in a bad way. Throughout their relationship, we saw many bumps in the road, from Gloria's family troubles to her interacting with Irina over the phone, hiding her relationship with Tony from Dr. Melfi, battling through her way when it came to Carmela and Tony's family life and marriage, and of course, her struggles with depression and mental health. But what seems to be one of the more peculiar bumps in the road is when one night after spending time with Tony, the two discover that Gloria's tires had been slashed. Now, as the episode, their relationship, and the season continued, we never find out who slashed Gloria's tires. So, who did slash Gloria's tires? We can see during this argument that Tony said the last time he had encountered a situation like this one was with his last girlfriend, Irina, so the thought of her doing this again creeps into his head. However, lots of fans, including myself, believe that it is actually Gloria who slashed her very own tires to get Tony to pay for them and to make up for the fact that Tony was late for their dinner, had to leave early one night, and was still in contact with his ex-girlfriend in Irina. We could clearly see the cruel comparison to Gloria to that of Tony's mother, Livia, who too would have outbursts and have a borderline personality disorder in order to feel protected by her very own son. And with Gloria, we see the same. She could have slashed the tires herself to feel protected and loved for once in her life by Tony offering to fix the tires. Shockingly, Dr. Melfi knew all along about Gloria's psychotic behavior and knew that Tony was attracted to people like his mother. Individuals who support different personalities, who are miserable, feel a sense of pity towards themselves and towards the world. Individuals that feel the entire world is against them. We see Tony discover Gloria's true colors and how she's a spitting image of his mother when she states that no one would care if she was alive or dead, and especially when she says Livia's classic line of "poor you." And here, Tony makes the remark of his mother being a bottomless black hole just like Gloria. In many ways, Gloria was a manipulator. She would constantly come up with different schemes to make Tony feel guilty, and Livia did the exact same. Whether it was taking her to the zoo, staying the night in a hotel room, throwing out his gift from Morocco when answering the phone she wasn't supposed to answer at all that happened to be from Irina, or even throwing a roast beef at Tony's head, there was no end to her bitterness and hatefulness attitude. The entire scene on a rewatch can be somewhat puzzling and frightening if Gloria does set up Tony. After all, she's a saleswoman, so it's her job to make a sales pitch to individuals, and mostly towards men when selling a car. So it's possible that exactly what she's doing to Tony here is setting him up. She could have easily just not noticed these slashed tires, or even if she did, look at them in the morning when it's daylight out for a situation to be a little less scary. But she doesn't. She intentionally brings the situation upon Tony. In a matter of moments, we watch Tony go from suspecting Irina to taking full responsibility and blame for the slashing of the tires when we know deep down he had nothing to do with it. Tony does this because this is how he usually is, as he can constantly be seen ending situations quickly with the resolution of money. However, Tony falls right into Gloria's so-called trap, as once he offers to pay, he's backed himself into a corner. Some fans think that it's someone who knows that Gloria and Tony are together and wants the relationship to end. Maybe someone perhaps like Dr. Melfi, as if we recall earlier in the series, Tony snooped around her house and fixed her car one night. So maybe Dr. Melfi feels the need to return the favor this time in a different way. After all, she did technically warn Tony about Gloria and her personality. Perhaps maybe Gloria is pinning it on a different individual like Carmela. After all, she did drive her home one day, and she may spill the beans to Carmela about her relationship with Tony. In hindsight, it was all Gloria, as we know that Tony was always attracted to women who were a shell of what his mother used to represent as a human being and as a mother. She never admitted that the assassination attempt on his life at the end of season 1 was all her doing until Tony found out by hearing the FBI tapes. So it's the exact same situation here with Gloria slashing her own tires. Unfortunately, in this case, Tony never finds out because Gloria tragically takes her own life. What do you think about Gloria slashing her own tires? Do you think differently about the situation? Let me know down in the comment section below. For more Sopranos content, keep it locked here, right here on this channel.